Hello and welcome to all our members joining us this morning for the 99th annual meeting of the East Hampton Historical Society. My name is Michael Clifford, and I'm proud to serve as board president. I'm sitting here virtually in the Bay Men Gallery at our very own Marine Museum in Amagansett. As we look forward to our centennial celebration in 2021, we find ourselves in a unique moment in our own history. Our annual meeting is meant to give our members a recap of the previous year's activities and accomplishments. This year, while we cannot be together at one of our properties to meet in person, we found a way to be together virtually, and I want to thank each and every one of you joining us today. Your support and participation this year in particular means so much to me, my fellow board members, and our very hardworking professional staff. So thank you. Today, I will report on progress we've made at the board level. Then I'll turn it over to Maria Vann, our executive director, to share her report with you. But first, I'd like to thank our board and committee members who've soldiered on through these unusual circumstances and literally kept the lights on with their generosity, camaraderie, and goodwill. I'd also like to give a round of applause to our professional staff who have devised new and creative ways to fulfill our mission with a positive attitude and at times a much needed sense of humor. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank those board members who are moving off our board this year at the end of their terms of service. A heartfelt thanks to Brian Anderson, Barbara Borsak, and Kathy Humphrey for your extraordinary service. A big thank you to each of you. This past year saw many new exciting initiatives at the board level. We held our first off-site retreat this past winter, which gave us a chance to take a step back, reflect on our work as a board, and review best practices with the help and guidance of a member of NYCON, the New York Council on Nonprofits. It was a great day for us as an organization and something we will repeat as we reflect on our mission heading into the next 100 years as we celebrate our centennial in 2021. We have also, with the help and guidance of NYCON, created a trustee handbook to help orient and onboard our newest board members with a comprehensive set of information they will need to help them succeed as board members. You may have also received a copy of our inaugural annual report for 2019. I'm personally very proud of that initiative as it celebrates the highlights of our past year. But maybe more importantly, it lists and thanks our many volunteers, house tour hosts, and our individual and corporate donors with whom our work would not be possible. At this time, I'd like to introduce Maria Vann, our executive director, who will give her report.
Thank you, Mike. Hello to all of our friends, supporters, and partner organizations. Thanks for tuning in to our annual meeting. First, I wanted to say that as your historical society, we are so grateful to all of our friends for your continued support through online interactions, personal messages, and financial contributions. As executive director, I am always thrilled to work in this environment which strives to share history, not as dusty old tales, but as stories of our past that connect us to the present. As Theodore Roosevelt said, I believe that the more you know about the past, you'll be better prepared for the future. So 2019 was quite an active and lively year, and we could not have done it without you. Our staff will share more about the highlights of the year, but I wanted to mention two milestones that meant so much to the society and community. On April 27th, 2019, the community gathered for the dedication of the Hedges Edwards Barn at Mulford Farm. The restoration and erection of the 1770s barn was a labor of love for the society, and it took dozens of people to complete the project. Dedicated to the memory of Ben and Bonnie Krapinski, the barn will forever be a place to recognize their legacy in East Hampton. There were numerous donors to make this happen, including our major sponsors, the Ralph Lauren Corporation, Ben Krapinski Builder, the Forbes family, the DeFlorio family, Ammon Foundation, and Ina and Jeffrey Garten. It was a real effort, and on that day of the celebration, we all came together to show the very best of East Hampton. Like the barn, the Society presents old history, but in a new way. Another important benchmark was the introduction of the Thomas and Mary Nimmo Moran Studio into the Historic Artists' Homes and Studios of the National Trust for Historic Preservation. What an honor for us to be among 40 plus of the most prestigious artist studios across the United States. The Morans have received their due as some of the most significant artists in this nation and the world. They not only changed East Hampton into an artist colony, but touched our National Park Service, and we will continue to share the importance with the public. Since our last annual meeting, we welcome and establish new staff positions to further on the mission of the Society. There is now a Director of Visitor Experience, a new Curator of Collections, and a Program Assistant. Our professional staff will enable us to provide even greater educational programs and exhibits across our 5 museum sites. Lastly, I want to share with you briefly about moving ahead. In the next weeks, we'll be returning to the office and making things ready for reopening sites, exhibits, and holding events for the season. We are excited to be back on site after these challenging months of COVID-19. We'll be implementing the required social distancing protocols and procedures to ensure safe environments for our visitors and our staff. So look out for more information. And don't hesitate to write me an email or give me a call if you have any questions. Make sure to keep an eye out on social media as well. With that, the last several months have reinforced that we're always making history and we're always living history. In that same spirit, the Society, as Mike said, is gearing up to celebrate its 100th anniversary in 2021. Good things lie ahead. We look forward to seeing you all very soon. And now I'll pass this along to Marianne Howard, Director of Visitor Experience.
Thanks, Maria. Hello, everyone. My name is Marianne Howard, and I'm the Director of Visitor Experience at the East Hampton Historical Society, coming aboard in July 2019. And today I'm coming to you from the Osborne Jackson House on Main Street in East Hampton. 2019 was a banner year for the Society, and I'm happy to share with you some of our highlights. We hosted a very successful winter lecture series with the theme From Land and From Sea. We opened our 5 sites to the public for the summer months, 2 sites through the fall, and 1 site for the holidays. We hosted the exhibit Artists at Home, Historic Artists' Homes and Studios from the National Trust, and created an educational component with visiting students. Our summer lecture luncheon included a lecture by David Netto entitled New Life in Old Houses, Architecture and Design in East Hampton. We collaborated with the Amagansett Life Saving Station and the East End Classic Boat Society for the inaugural Amagansett Maritime Heritage Day. We had over 700 people attend our annual House and Garden Tour in November. And we partnered with the Amagansett School to create new tours of Clinton Academy, the East Hampton Marine Museum, and Gardner Windmill. Moving ahead in 2020, we've been working hard to create new and meaningful programs for you, our audience. We were one of 6 sites in New York State to host the Smithsonian's Museum on Main Street exhibition entitled Waterways, which opened in February, and we've moved our Waterways programming to an online format to launch this summer. We've created an abundance of digital content, including Facebook Live events for children, curators clips, which are behind-the-scenes short stories about our historic collections, influential women of East Hampton, and videos about various themes on East Hampton's history. We're creating a YouTube channel to host all of this exciting new content. And be on the lookout for virtual events this summer. We're not canceling our favorite Society events. We're moving them to a different platform, and we can't wait to share that information with you. So be on the lookout for that information. And if you aren't on our mailing list and you'd like to be, you can find my email address on our website and send me a note that you'd like to be included. And now I'm going to turn over the mic to Richard Behrens, our Chief Curator. Richard?
Thank you, Marianne. It was an exciting year, wasn't it? So the word curator comes from the ancient French curator, and it really means to take care of. And Merriam-Webster's dictionary gives us a slightly broader introduction, and it says in quotes that it's one in charge of a museum or a zoo. Recently, the pages of the New York Times, a reporter interviewed a cheese curator of a new gourmet shop in Soho. So a word that once might have seemed a little stuffy now can talk about an occupation that may have something to do with either Gouda cheese or baby giraffes. Anyway, here we're almost 100 years old at the East Hampton Historical Society, and we curate a collection of over 15,000 objects. And they range in the size of, I guess we'd say, the Hedges barn to a 17th century rolled-headed pin, which is probably about 1.25 inches long. 2019 was a banner year for the Society. Our collections, along with some selected loans, were featured in Thomas Moran Discovers the American West, Finding the Way, Antique Maps of the South Fork, A Victorian Christmas with Thomas and Mary Nimmo Moran, and art from the collection of the East Hampton Town Marine Museum. A number of paintings from our fine arts collection were loaned for the inaugural exhibition picturing Old East Hampton, the beginning of an artist colony at the Gardner Mill Cottage, which is a village museum, and it's an exciting place to really see particularly some of our painting collection because it doesn't very often get on tape. We have extended loans out to a number of our sister institutions, including the East Hampton Town Farm Museum, Historic Bridgehampton, Cutchogue Historical Society, Montauk Lighthouse, and the Amagansett Coast Guard and Life Saving Station. So last year, we received well over 200 artifacts, which include objects themselves, but also research material. One is a scribe's desk attributed to Nathaniel Dominy V, and it must have been used by someone involved with making windmills, because on the inside of it, the cover, it says windmill cogs, and that dates from about 1790. And we'll probably be loaning that to the Dominy shops when they open in approximately a year. A pair of Indian clubs from about 1900 that were sort of a fanciful way of exercising. They looked like smaller versions of clubs that you might find used in a bowling alley. And they were probably more entertaining to watch the person exercising than possibly how much exercising good you got from it. We have a Sheraton designed banquet table, which will be moved into the Moran studio, which is from about 1800, and just pretty similar to one that appears, a little portion of it in one of the photographs when the Morans were in their studio. A candlestick telephone made by Tel and Tel Company in Ohio around 1920, which is a certainly interesting piece of obsolete technology. An extraordinary gift that arrived, I think it was just in fact brought in with a note on it, was what appeared to be an ordinary reproduction of a Thomas Moran painting. But when we looked at it a little more closely, we saw the title in the Teton range. We noticed that it was in fact signed in pencil by the artist. And when it was taken out of the frame, we saw that the whole surface of the print sparkles. It's one of the few and rare examples of experimenting with garnet powder to make a print look sparkly, like a winter print, and it's in fact a winter scene. And as far as we can tell, there are 6 other examples of this print known. So it was a pretty exciting gift for us. A couple other entertaining things: a nodding duck toy, hand carved in Germany in the 1840s, a Turkish enameled brass tea caddy from about 1880 that fits right into the Moran aesthetic, a Duncan Fife Pembroke breakfast table made in New York City about 1810, and a tiny little patch box made out of wood and straw with a little decoration on it from England in the 1850s. We would like to thank the over 24 donors for trusting us with their family heirlooms. Objects are the heart and soul of our education programming. Luckily, one of our most important items I did leave off the list, and that's because I'll be discussing that at the end of the program. So please remain with us. Please follow our website for information on coming exhibits and online programs that often feature all the things that we curators curate. Thank you. Mike?
Thank you, Richard. Thank you for joining us today. The East Hampton Historical Society has endured for nearly 100 years, and with your help, it will serve our community and beyond for 100 more. I hope we've been able to give you an adequate overview of our work this past year, and I want to thank the hardworking professional staff who've made this meeting possible, as well as our upcoming programming. If you have any questions you'd like to ask or anything you'd like to clarify, please don't hesitate to contact our office by emailing our executive director at director@easthamptonhistory.org. I look forward to the opportunity to see and meet you, all of you, at one of our upcoming programs in the future. And once again, I thank you for your support of the East Hampton Historical Society.
That's a wrap.